Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. What if the sweetest love story you've watched this year didn't come from a script, but from a single two-word post? One moment, Yulong and Yang Miemie were just co-stars. The next, the entire internet was screaming, "Wait, is this real?" Because what Yulong said on Weibo wasn't loud, wasn't dramatic, but it landed like a lightning strike. And tonight, we're unpacking why millions of fans across China, and increasingly around the world, felt like they were watching fiction become life in real time. Hengdian Short Drama Night looked like a standard industry gala, but the emotional temperature in the room said otherwise. Short drama stars rarely stand in a spotlight this bright, so the red carpet felt less like a routine appearance and more like a proving ground. Every glance was magnified, every movement interpreted. When Zhu Yue and Bai Xindia shared two affectionate kisses, fans didn't read it as performance. They read it as relief, a couple no longer hiding behind a script. Then Yulong and Yang Miemie stepped forward, and the night tilted. Their cheek kiss was small, almost quiet, but that softness was the shock. In a world where celebrity romance is often framed through marketing or controversy, a tender, unforced gesture can hit harder than a grand announcement. It looked like something that belonged to them, not to the cameras. That is why the reaction was immediate. People felt they were witnessing real intimacy slip through the machinery of show business. Within minutes, the conversation online shifted from clothes and staging to a single question. If they were only acting, why does this feel so true? The carpet became a mirror for a wider hunger. Audiences want romance that breathes, imperfect, instinctive, human. Hengdian offered a glimpse of that, and the glimpse spread faster than any press release because it felt like a shared discovery. For many viewers, it wasn't just a cute moment. It was the start of a story they'd secretly hoped was real. Short dramas operate on a different rhythm from traditional television, and that rhythm quietly changes the way relationships form. These projects are filmed quickly, released quickly, and usually depend on repeated pairings to keep viewers attached. Instead of one long production stretched over months, actors meet again and again in compact, emotionally intense shoots. Each story demands closeness on command. Confession scenes, heartbreak scenes, reunions that feel like second chances. When that happens repeatedly, the body learns the language of comfort. Yulong and Yang Miemie are the clearest example. Working together on around 24 micro-projects in roughly 2 years isn't casual collaboration. It's a shared creative life. Fans watch them perform every shade of romance across different settings and characters, and the emotional repetition created a kind of continuity. Even if each plot was fictional, the partnership was real. Over time, the eye contact becomes easier, the timing becomes instinctive, and the distance between role and self gets thinner. Viewers can sense that thinning. They notice the micro-moments that don't belong to a script, a laugh that arrives too early, a hand that reaches automatically, a gaze that lingers after the director calls cut. Short dramas by nature are intimate. They don't just show people falling in love. They rehearse the gestures of love so often that sometimes those gestures settle into genuine feeling. That is why audiences are fascinated. The format doesn't guarantee real romance, but it creates the conditions where it can grow quietly. And when it does, the line between screen and life feels almost beautifully inevitable. The obsession with Yulong and Yang Miemie isn't only about celebrity gossip. It's about a romantic narrative that audiences recognize instantly, because it lives in contrast. There's the visible difference, his calmer, more mature aura meeting her bright, youthful energy, plus the noticeable height gap that makes them look like a classic on-screen pairing. But the pull runs deeper than aesthetics. People read contrast as story. Two rhythms of life finding a shared tempo. Yulong projects steadiness. He rarely performs devotion loudly. He shows it through a quiet presence that feels protective rather than possessive. Yang Miemie brings lightness, quick emotion, playful warmth, the kind of openness that softens a room. Together, they form a balance audiences crave. Stability that doesn't turn cold, joy that doesn't float away. Their chemistry feels effortless because it looks like mutual regulation. He grounds her, she brightens him. That dynamic crosses cultures, which is why viewers from Asia to the West latch on so quickly. There's also a psychological comfort in their naturalness. In an era where public relationships often feel transactional, a couple that appears instinctive gives fans permission to believe in ordinary love again. Not perfect love, not branded love. Just two people who grew closer through shared work and shared trust. Every small interaction then becomes meaningful, because fans aren't simply watching romance. They're watching a kind of hope. That tenderness can be slow-built, that compatibility can appear in everyday collaboration, and that love doesn't require spectacle to be real. That hope is what keeps their story alive in people's minds. For a long time, Yulong and Yang Miemie stayed in the gray, careful space most public figures choose. Close co-stars, no labels, no promises to the audience. In an industry where rumors can derail careers and attention can become invasive overnight, that caution was a form of self-protection. Their denials didn't feel defensive. They felt like boundaries. They kept delivering convincing performances while asking the public to let their private life remain theirs. What made the eventual reveal so powerful was exactly that restraint. Fans had already collected countless quiet moments, behind-the-scenes glances, easy comfort, smiles that arrived before anyone asked for them. Still, without an official line, everything remained conjecture. The story lived in a suspended state where viewers balanced skepticism with affection. Then July arrived, and Yulong broke the suspension with almost startling simplicity. No lengthy declaration, no glossy rollout. Just 2 words on Weibo, "Oh yeah," followed by an image that needed no translation. A kneeling proposal, a ring in hand, a vulnerability he didn't try to disguise. The understatement made it feel less like a brand announcement and more like a human decision to stop hiding. Yang Miemie's response, "I said yes," completed the arc in the same quiet key. No theatrics, no teasing. A simple confirmation that turned years of shared work into context rather than rumor. People weren't moved just because it was romantic. They were moved because it was honest. And honesty in celebrity life is the rarest kind of surprise. This story spreads so widely because it is not built on spectacle. It is built on something universal. Across cultures, whether you're watching in Los Angeles, Seoul, Tokyo, Sydney, Paris, Toronto, or anywhere else, the core feeling is recognizable. A loved one collapses. You race to a hospital. You wait outside doors that won't open fast enough. Your mind turns into a loop of prayers and worst-case futures. Fame, language, and nationality do not change what that corridor feels like. The added layer of pregnancy deepens the resonance. Many viewers know the quiet weight a pregnancy carries. Joy laced with vulnerability, hope paired with fear. Seeing a public couple face that vulnerability reminds people of their own lives. Their own partners, families, and nights that changed everything. There is also the discomfort of watching privacy collide with public appetite. The reporters at the hospital symbolize a modern problem. When life becomes content, even emergencies risk being mined for clicks. That tension makes viewers protective and emotional. Ultimately, people react because this is a story about love in its most raw form. Love that panics, waits, speaks carefully, and breaks down in relief. Feels real. And real stories travel fast. Beyond the headline drama, there is a quieter theme here that deserves space. The cost of pushing the body too far, especially during pregnancy, and especially under the weight of constant work. The doctor's explanation, fatigue, dehydration, low blood pressure, is not mysterious. It is painfully ordinary. That ordinariness is the warning. Many women carry more than they admit. Schedules, expectations, emotional labor, and the pressure to look fine, even when they're not. This incident brings that hidden strain into the light. It also reframes Yulong's role. His love is not shown through speeches, but through immediate action and restraint. Carrying her to safety, speaking to protect her mental state, staying out of the recovery room because her health comes first. That is a mature kind of care one viewers can learn from. So here is a new positive fan activity to shift the energy from gossip to support. Viewers are invited to share one practical way partners, families, or friends can help pregnant women or exhausted loved ones feel safer. A habit, a boundary, a small daily act. We will highlight thoughtful responses in a follow-up. This turns a frightening moment into a collective reminder. Care is not only emotional, it is also practical, consistent, and shared.